How do you get started? Where's the first step?
The first step is working with a real estate professional that really knows the market and is able to hustle, right? I mean, I was doing it for myself, so I knew the market very well, and I hustled so that when I saw an opportunity, I was able to capitalize on it.
Anybody going this route should start creating and assemble that team of professionals to help them. The idea of being able to build wealth through real estate is something that excites so many people. Hey guys, and welcome to Black Belt in Real Estate. This is season 2. This is the final episode. If this is the first time that you're here with us, welcome. Check back all the other great episodes. If you're here today, you are interested in buying an investment property, and we're going to talk about buying your first investment property here in Los Angeles today. I have a savvy real estate investor with me today, James Suarez. He's also my mentor and the CEO of the Suarez team, which is the #1 team for Keller Williams in California. Also, a great person to be around if you want to learn how to win in the game of real estate. So thank you so much for being here, guys, and let's get this show started.
Let's get this show started. Yeah, I mean, it makes me think of the quote, and statistic, 90% of millionaires made their millions in real estate, right? There's nothing like mailbox money. And what I mean by that is when the rent comes in, right, and the mortgage paid, and then you get, the additional income, which is awesome. I'll never forget, the first investment that I purchased. A lot of, similar market. The market was shifting. A lot of my friends and colleagues and associates and family were saying, don't buy, but I'm very confident, in my ability to understand which direction the market was going and statistics. So, made the move, and it was one of the best decisions I made because it set me on a course to have a real estate portfolio. And now today, our real estate portfolio not only covers our, all of the properties that we own, it also covers the mortgage payment of our current home, and still gives us, a good amount of money every month to live off of, which, wouldn't have happened if I didn't get in the game of being a real estate investor.
This excites me, James, because I want to be able to say those words myself, and I know people that are watching also want to be able to say those words. So first of all, hats off to you. You took some big risks and you got rewarded. So can we just talk about how do you get started? Because this is a big mountain that you have climbed over probably 10, 15 years. Where's the first step?
The first step is working with a real estate professional that really knows the market and is able to hustle, right? I mean, I was doing it for myself, so I knew the market very well, and I hustled so that when I saw an opportunity, I was able to capitalize on it, right? When I bought, it was on a down market. The market was still going down. Sellers, there were something called short sales where I actually, instead of doing a short sale, was able to do what's called a wraparound loan, where I just assumed somebody's loan and they didn't have any equity in the property, so I didn't have to put a lot down either. So again, the first step would be working with a professional like yourself, someone who's willing to hustle, that when they know of an opportunity, they're able to present it and being able to get creative on how to purchase too, because not everybody has 25 or 30% to put down. If you do, or you're a cash buyer, even more power to you, because you could probably get an even better deal out there.
Yeah, and what should you look for in your first home? Should it be your first investment? Should it be a duplex, triplex, or what is the location important? Can you just walk us through where do you get started?
Yeah, well, mainly what something is what excites you, right? Because there's the cap rate, which is the capitalization rate. There's also different income properties, which is the duplex or triplexes or a single family home. One strategy is to buy near a college like LMU or UCLA, where you can buy a single family residence, which do appreciate more than apartment buildings. And then rent out the rooms to students, right? And students are willing to, pay more because not everybody is willing to rent, to students. Or, something that a lot of buyers do, as investors do as well, as apartment buildings. Because the challenge with a single family residence is, the vacancy rate. So it's important to be able to run the numbers because, if the single family home is not rented, because you can only really rent it, to one person, unless again you take the student route, then you're not collecting any income. Whereas if you have, let's say, a triplex, if one of the units vacates, you still have the other two who are paying the rent, and you don't have to carry, the entire building. You just have to carry the one unit till it gets rented again. But then there's the other aspect is then there's 3 refrigerators, right? There's 3 microwaves. There's, the different maintenance on all the different units versus just a single family home. So it's really what you're most comfortable with and exploring all the different options. And then the pros and cons, and then the pro forma as well to see what the numbers look like for you.
Awesome. And what are some of the pitfalls to avoid, like when you get started? Because there's like once you make the decision, that's awesome. Now you're on the trajectory, but there's so many, ways to go about this.
Yeah, the first and foremost is really understanding the numbers, right? Because a lot of investors don't take into account, vacancy rate. And sellers too. Sometimes they're like, oh, I don't want to sell because I can't get my price, so I'm just going to rent. Well, it's an investment, and sometimes investments perform and sometimes they don't perform. And in real estate, it's important to take into account vacancy, because the vacancy rate may be 2 months where you're not going to go without rent, but if the market shifts, and then back in 2008, 2009, it really shifted, right? The inventory went way up and the vacancy rate went up with it. So people had to hold, homes for, 3, 4, 5, 6 months without collecting income, which is why they lost it. So it's really to understand the numbers, right? And it's not to scare somebody about vacancy, but they should know that, right? They also need to know that, when a renter moves out, right, you're responsible for wear and tear. So you got to sometimes repaint the interior, sometimes you have to replace the carpet. So it's really understanding the numbers, but you also need to look into the market. Is it appreciating? Is it depreciating? Is it flat? Because, when you take in the vacancy rate, but the market's appreciating, that's okay because you're offsetting, the income that you're not getting in rent and the appreciation. So again, it's really important to sit down with somebody that really knows the numbers, that can help you put together a spreadsheet to see if, hey, this is a good investment for you, or hey, no, this is a little too risky for you.
Yeah, it sounds like anybody going this route should start creating and assemble that team of professionals to help them, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, starting with an agent who can help them run the numbers, as well as knows, when the good opportunities present themselves, so that you can capitalize on those.
Awesome. And as a first-time, investor, what are some of the other things to think about as far as location-wise?
Well, you're going to want to look to see what areas have been performing, better than others. And again, it's, an A location like, Beverly Hills or beachfront, right? That's going to be more expensive, and the return on your money is not going to be as high as if you bought in a transitional area, or an area like Inglewood, right? With, SoFi Stadium, like that area, is still transitioning, but your cap rate, because the price point is going to be a little lower, is going to be, higher, but there's a little more risk there when it comes to values, because, if the market does adjust, it's going to adjust more in that area than, let's say, beachfront. So it's, again, understanding, what you're most comfortable with. Are you willing to be a little more, risky, right? Or do you want something a little more stable?
And can we just talk about, like, how does this happen for you, going from your first property to buying more properties and being interested in this and seeing the rewards? Like, can you just talk a little bit about that process and some of the lessons you've learned during the years?
Yeah, I mean, there's OPM, other people's money, right? And being able to be smart about leveraging. So oftentimes, I just modeled what, others successful did, which is, when my properties gained equity, I would do what's called a cash out refi, right? So I would pull out some of the equity. Instead of spending that on, a new car or a nice watch or new clothes, I took the equity and reinvested it into another property that, made sense. And for me, especially if I knew the market was appreciating, even if I was breaking even, I would be happy with that, because the equity that I was gaining as the market would appreciate allowed me, and our net worth to continue to climb. And it's also important, as an investor, to understand this is an investment, and you also need reserves so that, in a down market, or if there is a higher vacancy rate, that you're able to, go into the savings of the account, so that if the market adjusts, you're not having and forced to sell in a down market, that you have this savings account to be able to carry the property. Because you definitely don't want to sell, when the market's declining or at the bottom. And if it's inclining, you might as well wait, for it to continue to go up in order to take advantage of the equity that, is in the property.
Yeah, and investing in real estate is long-term, right?
It depends, right? Because, it can be long-term, it can be a long-term hold, or, a lot of people have done very well with flipping properties, right? And that's where it can be a short-term. You have to be smart about it, right? You have to really know the numbers and work with an agent that can show you like what the entry price and what a realistic exit price is based off of, where the market's going, and, how much it does cost to, remodel a property.
Thank you for sharing that. And I mean, the idea of being able to build wealth through real estate is something that excites so many people, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the one, it's the American dream of home ownership. But then again, a lot of people's dream are to be millionaires, and one of the easiest and quickest ways to do it is real estate.
And if we're looking at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, housing is one of the most important things. It's always going to be in demand, in a way. And one thing that we're seeing now too, I think as an investor now, especially in Los Angeles, it's going to be a good time, because some of the home buyers are on pause now because of the spike in interest rates. So they're going to lease, rents are going to go up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of being a homeowner, right, or an investor is, you're going to have renters, because some people either are not going to be able to afford to purchase, don't want to purchase, are only here for a part of the time. So again, you get to collect the rent, which is basically collecting money to pay your mortgage, and oftentimes more than your mortgage.
Yeah. James, I think we have sparked some interest, and we're happy to help more. If you want to dig into like how would the actual game plan be for you to get an investment property, please reach out to us. I just want to say thank you, first of all, to you, James, that you've been here with us, season 2. We started out with season 1. It was a success. We're here today wrapping up, and I think it's been a great experience. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite topics, real estate. I'm passionate about it. It's helped myself and my family, live some of our dreams, and I would love for others to experience it too. And it's mainly all because of real estate. So my pleasure.
That's awesome. And thank you so much for being here with us, watching Black Belt in Real Estate. It's been an exciting journey. I can't believe that season 2 is over. I almost want to cry, but I'm also so excited that you're here watching. Don't worry, season 3 is coming. If there's any specific questions that you want to get answered, please reach out to us. We're happy to answer them, and maybe even as soon as in season 3. Thank you so much, and talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching Black Belt in Real Estate. We really appreciate having you here. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, we would love the opportunity to interview for your business. James, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, what I would say is just to remember that this is a business decision, not a personal decision. And something that Peter and I and our team pride ourselves on is we look at ourselves more like consultants than we do salespeople. A lot of salespeople have that commission breath and they push you to buy or sell when you're not comfortable, whereas we take a systematic approach, a personalized approach to determine what is best for you and your family. And if now is not the time to buy or sell, we're okay with that, and at least we've given you that information. So as Peter said, we truly would appreciate the opportunity to earn your business.
Thank you so much, and see you soon.